I'm Dave D, and you're watching XP Team USA.
Our most loved ones, kids, hooked on technology and disconnected from nature. And we, as parents, try to encourage them to go outside, explore and play, and teach them history. Yet, it seems hopeless at times. Nocta Macro. Introducing the world's first waterproof kids detector series. Mini and Mini HOARD. Easy to use. Lightweight and compact. Finds, discriminates, and pinpoints. Just like an adult's detector. Share your hobby with your kids to build great family memories. Let your kids discover a world full of adventure, experience and excitement of discovery right outside their door. Mini and Mini HOARD, world's first waterproof kids detector series for the young treasure hunters of the future.
Good evening, everybody. It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's the Big Detecting Show. Still not quite sorted the graphics out, but we'll get there soon, I am sure. And basically, that's my fault because I've took on far too much in life at the moment. Anyway, good evening to everybody already here. Nick West, Darren Booth, Chris Williams, Nicola Roberts, Dominic Tomczyk, I've got that right now. Craig Hearn, who will be speaking to us in a moment. Mr. Gaylor, Dave Reynolds, Nigel Jones, Scotty B, Kaz Walton. Scotty B went back to school this week, by the way. Steve Pettican, Detector Network. Good evening, Scott Holden. Old Demios Ton Trussell. Tony Kaywood. Where am I? I'm lost. Gareth Howard, Philip Willis, and MS Detectorists up to now. Good evening, everyone. Hope you are all well. Oh, I'm Graham Dempsey from Composite Cleaning Pencil Company, who've had a lovely new website, and it looks very nice. So what's the address of that? Let me see if I can quickly find that before we have a look. For www.cleaningpencil.com. That's the website, but it's all been updated. Anyway, very, very busy night ahead of us tonight. We've a South Wales special with our guest Mike Smith, who you will remember from previous podcasts, who found the Celtic Chariot in South Wales, and also Celtic Stags, Kieran Slade and Craig Hearn. I had to think then. I lost my track of thought. Anyway, they'll be on there. They're talking about this weekend's rally that they just held at Strata Florida Abbey in South Wales. So without further ado, good evening as well to Harry Long, Chris Bailey, Paul Atok and Kevin Whitmore. Nice to have you all with us. Without further ado, I'm going to share the screen. Mr. Higgins, share audio, I remember. And I'm going to go and find out where on earth I've put the news. So as soon as we're ready and we're sharing, here we go.
The most powerful features about the Apex is its great target separation, especially amongst iron-ridden places. We'll go through a couple of scenarios here and show you a couple of target tests and show you how you can really pick up coins and good targets amongst iron. We'll start with this iron nail test. This is a fairly common one that a lot of folks use. So we'll show you the setup here in a second and run through a couple of different scenarios. Okay, so we've got our iron nail test sheet on the ground here. We've actually hot glued the nails to this sheet of paper so they're not going to roll around when I'm scanning it if I accidentally bump one. Let's take a look at the settings here. I want to show you reactivity on the Apex. I've got this in relics mode, which means I've got some iron discrimination in play. And then on my settings, I'm factory sensitivity. I've got the volume all the way up. I've knocked the iron volume down to 3, so it's not so terribly loud as we go through this. And we're in multi-frequency. And then what I'm going to do is bring iron audio into play. So I've engaged iron audio. Okay, so to start with, we've got the iron audio on. Let's just listen to the nails on this board. That's clearly the sound of iron on the apex there. That's the lowest sound. No target in play. So now what I'm going to do is I got my Indian head penny. I'm going to put it right there in the center in that first position. And let's go back over it. And what you're listening for is something above iron, a positive response. Maybe some masking going on, but you're listening for a good positive response. You can hear the ironing going on in the background, but you can clearly pick out a good signal amongst all those irons there in this test board. I've clearly
Just going to bump that over a bit.
Works.
Okay then, so today we are going to be looking at this big brown boxed beast. What treasures and mysteries lie beneath this brown fellow, I hear you ask. This is the Evo 6000, the long-awaited machine, a new machine from...
And get a test if you have COVID symptoms. Since the pandemic began, we've asked you to reduce your social contact and limit your interactions with friends and family. And I know that over time, the rules have become quite complicated and confusing. We've spoken to police officers about what they need for an effective enforcement regime. And of course, we've listened to feedback from you, from the public. So we're responding, and we are simplifying and strengthening the rules, making them easier for everyone to understand and for the police to enforce. I should stress that if we are to beat the virus, then everyone at all times should limit social contact as much as possible and minimize interactions with other households. It's safer to meet outdoors, and you should keep your distance from anyone you don't live with, even if they're close friends or family. So in England, from Monday, we're introducing the rule of 6. You must not meet socially in groups of more than 6, and if you do, you will be breaking the law. This will apply in any setting, indoors or outdoors, at home or in the pub. The ban will set out in law and be set out in law, and it will...
Well, we think we'll have enough of Mr. Johnson there. So moving on from that bit of news, I'm still sharing that, Luke. Carry on, Luke. Come on. Back to sharing, young man. We do have a good article that's been sent our way on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine website, www.archmdmag.com. And this comes from a Danny Wright. Look at that. A gold imperial tremesis discovered in Oxfordshire. So he found this with a Milob Equinox. Absolutely stunning. Now, I personally had never heard of these, but it's called he's had it identified as a Merovingian pseudo-imperial tremesis, 500 to 600 AD, of a winged victory type. Now, on the website, you can see it goes into a little bit of detail, telling you what about the Merovingians were and such like. And if you follow on to coinweek.com, that goes into even more detail. But as you can see, when he found the coin and such like, absolutely fascinating. So thanks to Danny for sending that in. And anybody else wants to send anything in similar, article-wise, or, you know, just a few brief words, please feel free, and myself or Luke will get that up, no problem whatsoever. So yeah, it's excellent article that. We've got another one coming up in the next week, well over the weekend, and it's you'll be seeing images from it and a video from the Celtic Stags event this weekend, one of the finds. Just to go back to the NCMD announcement, they have an update, sorry. We're in contact with the Department of Culture, Media and Sport to get clarification how the government's new Rule of Six impacts digs for our hobby in England. It is not, for example, fully clear as yet whether the rules for businesses and charity-run events will be subject to the same limitations on the number of people gathering. Also, we expect a statement on what the Scottish, Northern Irish and Welsh assemblies will decide for those countries in the next couple of days. We will also update you for what that means for the hobby and in those countries as soon as we know more. So there you go. That's the update. Go away, silly thing. That's that. Wasn't it nice for Boris Johnson to make an appearance? The great big galah. Moving on again. I think what we're going to do now, we're going to go briefly and quickly through the readers' finds for the week. So then we can bring our guests for this evening on, because they're far more important. Well, they're not as important, but it's similar important, but it's nice to see the finds as well. So back into wherever I am going. There I am. And for the big detecting show finds for the week, I think I've probably put this in the wrong box, haven't I? I might have put this in the wrong order. So, or I might have not have. Yes, I have. They're in the wrong one. They should be in the Celtic Stags file, so apologies. We'll get there momentarily. This first one was sent in by Andre Figueiredo, friend of the show, of a button that he found, and he asked me to do a bit of research, and I found out it was a fire brigade button. As you can see, the helmet and the two axes going either way. He also sent me a short video as well, asking for a little bit of help identifying this, which he picked up. Obviously I've not put the sound on, but he's found this bronze artifact in North Wales, snake buckle. So I sent him the information over, I think it was the Colchester website, but that's his video of the snake buckle that he found. And that was found with the Noctomacro simplex. So thanks to Andre for sending that in. Ian Jackson, he sends his finds all the time, and it's great to have them in. It really is. It's great to see the amount of different things that you're actually picking up, and always on the silver. Very lucky. A nice Victorian pendant. Now this key, this was, I don't think anybody's actually given an answer as to what type of key or age it actually is as yet. Lovely little piece anyway. But if anybody can shed any light on what they think that is, please find the image in the Big Detecting Show Facebook group and let Ian know what it is. These are Mike Smith's guest for tonight. Some of his finds this last week. I'd give me arm and leg for that. Ah, it's a leg. I'm doing dad jokes tonight, aren't I? So some lovely finds there, Mike. This is Simon Weller. Some of the finds that they've had up this week, and I think there was a few in particular that I think. Oh yeah, there was a video of a ring that came up, as you can see there. Lovely ring. And then this chap, I don't know if he's in the background yet. I've sent him the link. He was going to come on tonight to talk about this. It's the pin-up man himself of Peaky Finders, Mr. Kevin Marchese, who had gold up again. I'm not 100% sure what it is. I was hoping Kev was going to come on and reveal all, but I'm not sure if he's actually been able to get to Tinterweb. So there are the images for this week. So thank you everybody for sending them in. Let's bring the guests in. We have Craig Hearn from Celtic Stags Metal Detecting Group. We have Kieran Slade from Celtic Stags Metal Detecting Group, and we have Mr. Mike Smith. And it's a South Wales special because all these chaps reside in that lovely part of the world of South Wales. Evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dave.
Evening, Dave.
Are you all well?
Very good.
Yeah, yeah, fine.
I'm happy to say nobody's stalling, nobody's going. Everybody can hear fine, so we're running dandy. So I'm going to go over first and foremost, chaps, to Mike. And Mike, obviously, a lot of people don't obviously know about yourself and your history enhancing find for South Wales a couple of years ago. So I've downloaded some images off Tinterweb, and obviously, if it's okay with yourself, to introduce yourself and talk your way through the finds that we're going to be having a look at.
Yeah, okay. My name's Mike Smith. I live in Milford Haven, Pembrokeshire. From Pembroke Dock originally, and I've been metal detecting since 1977. 2 years ago, on February the 7th, I found a Celtic chieftain chariot burial, which the experts at the time said were impossible because there was no Celts in the area I found it in. Since then, now they've admitted that they were wrong, and it's become a scheduled site. There's a lot more there as well. There's a prominent fort in the corner. 14 more burials in the field. That piece there now, that's a horse harness junction piece that sits in the horse chest, and the strap went around there, then around the rest of the leather gear.
So you said that there's now said that you've got a fort in the corner, and you've also got 14 burials on the site. Did you say?
Yes.
So obviously, since the last time we spoke to you, things have moved on quite a lot.
Yes, it's all been out of the ground now since last June. As you can see, the archaeologists, they're working on the actual tyres, as they call them, from the Chariot. They're the biggest ever discovered, apparently. The average size of Chariot wheels are between 600 and 900 mil across, and they're 1,200 mil across. So bigger than any they'd found before.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating. And if you've been involved with the process, obviously, again, we spoke to you numerous times in the past, but you've been since then continued being in part of the process.
Yes, I have. I'm not going to lie, they did make it quite awkward at some stages, making me sign a non-disclosure, so I wasn't allowed to take any photographs or anything like that. I wasn't allowed to publish anything on the agreement that they'd give me 50 photos by last October. I still haven't had them. So,
really?
Yeah. So word to the wise there for anybody in future, get it in black and white.
Now, this is an artist's impression of what they think it would have looked like at the time. Obviously, some of the regalia on the horse plus the chariot itself.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
And tell us about the images here on the top centre. We've got a chain. Is that a bridle or something?
Yeah, that's a bridle bit. That's the piece that, same as today, goes into the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
And the reins attached to the loops on either side.
Right, I'm with you. And this
that
one
piece
here?
Yeah, that's Terror Ring. Now that piece on its own, there was a gentleman there with a recreation of a chariot, and he had a Terror Ring in the center of his yoke, which he said was the biggest ever found down by Glastonbury. And I said, no, it's not. And he said, it is. It's the biggest ever found. And I said, it isn't. And he said, what do you mean? So I showed him a picture of mine sitting on top of a tobacco tin, which is it's 7.5 inches across, roughly.
Yeah.
And his is smaller than the tobacco tin. So that now holds the record for the biggest one in Europe.
Wow. And again, this is the image that you've just spoke about a moment ago. And this one, I think we've got a better image that we can have a look at regarding that coming up. So again, this is the dig site itself.
Yeah, that's the archaeologists getting down to the tyres there. You can just see the tyres being exposed there.
Yeah.
That there, that's the bit as he's excavating it out.
And I
one
bet
of
you
the bits.
to actually see this being excavated, because I take
Yes, I did.
it was
Yeah.
you hadn't seen that, and when it started to come up like that was mesmerizing in itself, something like that.
Yes, yeah. What surprised me was my actual finds, which you've got part of a picture of there. They were right dead center on top of where the chariot was. And after I pulled out the pieces that I found, there was no discernible signals other than iron.
Yeah.
And because I wasn't aware at the time of the Celts using iron weaponry and stuff like that, I didn't think much of it. And it was only after speaking with Julian Hart, who's the editor of Treasure Hunting magazine, that we came up with, it happened to be a chariot burial.
They're actually all the images that I've got, so we can stop sharing now anyway. Come back to sharing later. So I mean, Kieran and Craig, we'll go with brain dead tonight. Seeing this from your locality, I bet it was fascinating for yourself as well to see that.
Yeah, very astonishing.
Yeah. Very next fight.
Yeah, can you hear me, guys? Just to make sure.
Yes, yeah.
It was the same when myself and Kieran found all the Bronze Age items, etc. When we went to conservation room, they showed us part of Mike's chariot inside there, and we could see where they were X-raying around the rim of the wheels just to get the bronze. Like, it's a specimen of an item, to be honest. It's, as Mike said, it proves again that my theory has always been that there's a lot more in Wales than people actually believe there is. The archaeologist blatantly turned around and said to Mike, "No, it's not," and basically laughed at him. And I mean, the archaeologists can sometimes be too complacent or too naive, basically, for their own good. And as again, as Mike found out himself, maybe it is something epic that you don't normally get. You don't normally see these type of things come out of the ways yourself. If there's one there could be 1,000 there.
It could be.
And as Mike previously said, there's 14 other burials there, and they didn't want Mike digging them up. And as Mike knows, with England, it's different. It's a different structure to England than there is to Wales. We got Cadw, which are right on it. They're on it like Sonic. They knew if Mike was to carry on excavating all our land, they would have been down to a monetary problem for them more than they're not protecting it just for themselves. It's the fact that Mike would have been entitled to God knows how much money. Yeah. And although Mike's not in it for the money, but he would have been entitled to the finder's fee. And they didn't want that to happen. So they stonewalled Mike as much as they possibly could.
So, Mike, where are you at the moment with it? Obviously, the site's scheduled. You can't do anything without the archaeologists' inclusion there. Where are you at currently, the site itself?
Well, with the site is at the moment now, I've stayed away for the simple reason being is I don't want to complicate the matter by finding anything else of significant age. The way that they've gone at the moment now has been out since June the 3rd last year, and they still haven't wrote the coroner's report for this. So if I find anything else, it's just going to drag it out even longer. So I'll wait for this all be done and dusted, and then once this is done and dusted, then I'll start again.
What were the archaeological unit who were actually doing the excavations? What was that company called? Or university?
David Archaeology.
Right.
And it was Adam Gwilt, Mark Lodwick from Cardiff Museum. It was actually headed by David Archaeology, Ken Young, I believe his name is.
Ken Murphy.
Sorry?
Ken Murphy.
Ken Murphy, sorry, yes. He's the boss here for David Archaeology. But even then, they can't do anything without say-so from Cadw. Cadw are the ones who actually they're the ones who can say yes or no on any monuments here in Wales.
Mm-hmm.
Even the archaeologists have to get permission from them first.
Yeah. I was lucky enough back in the early 2000s, a friend of mine, he was a metal detectorist at the time, he was asked by somebody quite high up in the archaeological community on Anglesey, could he do a visit to a site and look at it from a metal detecting aspect, where everything went directly to Cadw, and it was Cadw who arranged it. So we were lucky enough to do some work for them. But yeah, I mean, this is 20 years ago, but my dealings with them then, it was very forthright, and it's as we say it is. So yeah, fully understandable that.
No messing about with Cardiff.
No,
none at all.
No, they don't. They don't.
Oh, who's having phone calls? That Craig again, isn't it? Craig who could talk all days on the phone again.
Yeah, it's my. Believe it or not, my wife is upstairs and she's ringing me.
What's she doing now? Tell that Laura to stay upstairs and be quiet.
I know.
Watch that Dave show.
I think people are struggling to find the YouTube link there.
Right, the YouTube link. Potentially there is Luke. Now, firstly, if you go to let people know about the big Detecting Show Facebook group. That's where the show streams are on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. I think Luke may have changed the name of his YouTube channel. If that's right, Luke, can you put the name of your YouTube channel where this is streaming onto for me, please? There should be a banner popping up momentarily, but I believe it may be the Peaky Finders.
What I'm also doing, Dave, I'm recording my screen as we talk. It's recording everything on my screen, your voice, my voice. So if I can, I'll put that up after.
That's great. Well, anyway, if you go to the, obviously, I've actually shared it to your Facebook group, Mike. Metal Detecting Wales and Beyond, I think I'm right in saying. So
Yes,
I've actually shared the show to there, so it'll be there as a permanent fixture anyway for you to watch or share whenever you want to in the future. And don't forget, everybody, in 15 minutes live, we'll have the Diggers Dips weekly prize draw for 10 tokens. This is our third week now, and it's going great. And can I also just say, because it's another South Walian person, Mr. Bailey and his team have put together a fantastic little virtual metal detecting thing, which we shown, was it last week or 2 weeks? But it's getting slowly addictive.
It's very addictive. It's a good game.
It's very good. And he's telling me there's going to be lots of difference and new things added to it as well. So we're looking forward greatly to that. Scotty, I didn't actually, Scotty B, how was your first day back at school? He didn't answer that. Bubba Williams has shared the link above. Obviously, for anybody, Laura, if you can share that on to anybody, that'd be great. Actually, what I didn't do, and I'll do now, because I was rushing so much at the start of the show, I didn't actually share the show to the Celtic Stags group, so you can slap me for that. So if I share that to the Celtic Stags, I've done it to everywhere else, and I'm thinking, who else have I done? So that's on the Celtic Stags group now. Sorry. Where were we, Mike?
That you got the same problem as me, Dave. I'm in about 60 odd different groups, and remembering to put my finds on them some nights. Some nights I remember, sometimes I don't. You know, and then I think to myself, oh hell, you know, I wish I'd showed that last night, and if I put it on tonight, it's going to look like I've made it up.
Yeah, I mean, I get multiple invites to groups, and I've had to stop accepting them because I'm just in so many. In fact, at some point in the near future, I'm going to have to sit there and go through the ones that I don't actually go on, because it's not fair me being there and not utilising them, not you know, being involved. I don't believe that if you're in a group, you shouldn't be involved. You should, you know, be a little bit more communicative, which is what we ask about people in the Big Detecting Show group, is to be a bit communicative, and then we're happy for you to share your YouTube videos then.
what I've said in our group, I've stopped some people putting YouTube videos on there for the simple reason being is that's all they're there for. They don't interact with the group in any other way. They put a video on, and that's all you see of them.
That's exactly. In fact, there was somebody on the group this week who
I saw it.
It was a foreign chap who had a big go. He's leaving the group because we're deleting his content. And I'm like, well, with all due respect, mate, you're just sharing YouTube videos. And we did originally state when you joined the group that you agreed not to unless you participate. So
we get a lot of that on the Celtic sides, mate. A lot of foreign people will just jump all over the page and just want to. And we haven't got a problem in people, if they're going to put their finds up by the YouTube videos, show the rubbish you're digging as well. Just don't show all the good finds, because we all know 90% we dig is rubbish. The rest, the 10%, if we're lucky, is good.
Yeah. But it's like it's like the
problem, I mean, you know yourself.
The weekly Diggers Dips thing. People don't realise that that's there and that's free. All you need to do is put your name down and join the site, and you've got free access. And, you know, you have to remind people that it's there. And then, obviously, as I say, there's a lot of people. I think I've had to delete, before I've come on to now, about 4 different YouTube videos on there, because people don't realise that they're not. You've more or less signed a waiver not to do that. It's not about that. We want to see Ian Jackson's finds. We want to see Si Weller's finds. We want to see Mike's finds. We want to have people communicate and talk about the hobby in general, not put their YouTube video in there to get more hits.
I had a message from a person in Ireland one night. He'd been metal detecting now about 6 weeks, I think he said, and he hadn't found any gold. What was he doing wrong?
Same as me for the last 20 years.
Well, some people, they get into the hobby thinking that you're going to find gold and silver and straight away. It takes a long time, if at all.
It's all about luck.
Yeah, yes, you've got to walk over it to find it.
It doesn't matter what machine you're using at the end of the day. If you don't walk over it, you're not going to find it.
And that's what I remember I spoke to you, Mike, if I'm correct, back down in West Wales in my father-in-law's shop.
Yeah, in Jamestown, near Tenby.
That's it, yeah. Yes, I met you, and you said, on the Chariot. And I'll be straight up, I was like, this guy's on smoking something. And I went straight on my phone and looked, and like, this guy's believable. But the same thing happened to me and Kieran. When we found all the Bronze Age, we found all. Yeah, all right, whatever, guys, do what. You just don't believe it, do you? People, and I'm not being funny, people like myself, Mike and Kieran, get penalised for finding these artifacts. Because there's a lot of jealousy out there.
There is a lot of jealousy.
There is a massive amount of jealousy in metal detecting. And we are out there, it's not for the monetary value, but we're out there to show that we can do it. Let me just put a good example there now. Strata Florodrabi, right? Where we done the dig down there on the weekend. Second oldest church in Wales. We didn't have one single person go over to the other side of the abbey. Everybody obeyed by our rules. All in fairness, but we're going to have a shop in 6 weeks next year in the 6 weeks holiday, because we're doing a full 6 weeks dig down there. We're doing a 6 weeks dig on continuously every single day.
Wow.
Because they're working opposite sides. I'm like, do you know how much you're charging people? The archaeologists, for people to go on to their side of the street.
No, I don't know.
£285 just for a weekend to scrape away.
That's
just to do their job.
Basically, they're not only working as slave labour, they've got to pay to do so as well.
Yeah,
exactly.
They can't do their job.
Yeah. Can I just butt in and say, Kieran, can you move to your left a little bit? A little bit more, just a little bit. Right, now put your head down.
Bend down.
Bend down a little bit. Get lower. There it is. Now he's got stag horns.
I can't get any lower. My stomach's in the way.
Breathe in, boy.
So, Mike, the whole process, it's been very illuminating to yourself regarding everything that goes on behind the scenes when it comes to finding something of consequence?
It's, to be honest with you, it's a very frustrating process. Not only being made to sign the non-disclosure, there was days they did not want me there because there was a documentary company there doing a documentary as well. It was very frustrating, and they didn't seem to understand. I wanted to be there to see items coming out the ground, because once it's out the ground, I was never going to see that again.
No.
But they didn't care about that. You know, basically, I weren't allowed there on some days, and that was that.
Madness.
That was our
given you are the person who actually discovered it, you know, you'd think that you have your red carpet out.
Well, you'd think they'd show you a bit more respect. I mean, I'm not a detectorist that's just come into it in the last 5 minutes. I've been doing it since 1977. You know, I've been metal detecting a long time. It's taken me a long time to find something like this. I mean, it's the only one that's ever been discovered by a metal detectorist. But, you know, the argument being was I wanted photos to be able to show my family and friends, my children, my grandchildren in the future. And I was promised faithfully that I would get those photos by last October. And all I get is excuses. We're too busy. We're too busy. And now, well, we've been off work because of the lockdown. Well, it was already 6 months later, you know, before the lockdown started. You know, they don't like being fair.
No.
I'm going to have to stop you because we need to share the screen, because the draw is about to take place. I've just looked and I didn't realise it was where it is. So, Luke, are we sharing? Can we see the countdown?
You can see it.
Excellent. So 23 seconds. You all know what happens when the counter hits 0. You'll get 3 figures. The first one will scroll to 1 or 0. The second one will be the second figure, and the third will be the third figure, and then the winner will be announced. So thank you as ever to Diggers Dips for what's happening here now.
Hang on, what's happened to this?
What's happening?
9 minutes.
I think I'm just going to have to refresh that. I think that's had a brain fart then, hasn't it? Oh, now it's 3 minutes.
Click it again.
Let's click it again.
No.
Right, so I apologise. We'll be back in 3 minutes. It's had a bit of a brain fart.
Decided to glitch on him.
Chris, we had a brain fart then. You had me flapping. So anyway, thank you anyway to Diggers Dips for that. And when it comes up in a few minutes, you'll see the 3 figures, and then it'll announce the screen name for the person for Diggers Dips, and that will be credited to their account. It won't be me. I haven't entered this week. I won again this week. Me who doesn't win anything. What did I win this week? I won a ring that had been manufactured from a florin. So I'm just waiting for delivery of that. I did say I never win anything, but hey, I keep winning things, sadly. Somebody seems to have disappeared. Where's he gone now? Where are we anyway? So we're on 2 minutes, and I'm on a wrong screen. Talk amongst yourselves. Kieran, have you got any questions for Mike at all?
Ooh, that's a tricky one.
I love putting people on the spot.
Yeah. When was the last time the museum got in touch with you about it all then?
The last time they actually got in touch with me properly was Adam Gwilt phoned me in work about a month ago, saying that he was not actually working at the time. He was a security guard as they were all on lockdown, and he was standing in as a security guard. So he thought he'd reply to a message that I'd left him. That's all it was. I mean, I haven't actually had a proper conversation with them since August last year. They do not keep you in the loop at all. They've had a few media events. They had one up in, say, Fagans that you're probably aware of last year.
Yeah.
And the first I knew of it was a friend of mine who tagged me into a link on Facebook that this was going on up at Cardiff. The farmer and his wife had an invite the night before. I didn't even get an invite. They had the media there. They had the Pembrokeshire College people there who were there doing a bit of filming and on the archaeology side of it. I didn't know anything about it. I had no notification whatsoever.
Why do you think they're stonewalling you so much, Mike?
For the simple reason being is there's no easier way to say it than the fact they don't like people proving them wrong. And I noticed in a few of the stories they put out on Facebook claiming that Mark, I don't know Mark's last name, but he's basically the head of the Roman department.
Just gonna butt in. Sorry, Mike. We've got 10 seconds on the draw. Do apologise. We'll get back to you in any moment. Okay. So back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and this week's first place for the prize draw is. I'm not as good as Aaron Weedle on the countdown. No chance of being that. He is the man with the golden voice.
4, 3, 2.
So the first number is 0. Second number is 0, so it's a low figure this week. And finally, number 4. So the winner is John Cornwall. Congratulations, John Cornwall. And on behalf of Diggers Dips, the £10, or sorry, the 10 credits, 10 tokens, will be credited to your account. So there's that. I think at this point we're going to go into the adverts any moment, so we can come back to Mike in a moment and carry on where we left off. Don't forget where you were, Mike, and Luke will run the adverts in a moment. Shortly. We'll get there. He's probably loaded them up. It's got to be one of them nights. So anyway, we're just waiting as well. As I was saying earlier, we've still the new images are still getting created. We do have several new images, several new items in our shop, as well as the Just Dig It caps, t-shirts and what have you. We now also have the Not All Treasure is Gold and Silver, mate. Hello, Luke. You're on mute, Luke. You're on, Luke. Mute. There he is.
We got 260 viewing right now, so I'd rather not take the risk of streaming adverts.
Okie dokie. No adverts tonight then. Anyway, okay, so we'll leave them to the end of the show and we'll carry on where we were. So back to Mike. Sorry for interrupting Mike a moment ago. If you could carry on, that'd be great.
Yeah, they don't like being proved wrong, for one thing. And on a few posts they put out on Facebook that I commented on and they removed my comments on. I won't give names, but there was one of the trainee archaeologists who said about Mark from St. Fagan's, who was the Roman expert there, saying that it was like he knew where to dig. He's like a time traveler, she said. No, the reason he knew where to dig was I told them where the chariot was. And they were making out a lot of it was their discovery, until I butted in on it, which then they sort of kicked me off the post. But no, they were trying to take the credit for it, basically. That's how it came across.
It's the last thing you'd expect from archaeologists, really, would know to, act in that manner.
Well, when you think about it, when they had that TV and media event with all the news companies, newspaper companies, magazines, there was lots of different companies there, and they didn't want me there. Why?
They had the documentary on S4C as well, didn't they?
Sorry?
They had the documentary on S4C as well.
Has that been out now, is it?
Yeah, they've seen it a while back.
Well, there you go. See, they didn't even tell me that. I know there's there's a documentary in Welsh, and they're still apparently trying to get the funding for the documentary in English. Although I know I'm in the documentary, they promised me faithfully that they would let me know when it's going to be aired so I could watch and record it. And I didn't even know it's been released.
Yeah, it's been released.
It's
How long
partly, at the end of the day, you know, if it wasn't for you discovering it, then none of this would have come to light. So you'd think they'd appreciate the fact that, obviously, with you finding it, they'd keep you in the loop at least with things.
Well, I mean, it's the honesty of my side of it. I did the right thing from the word go. On the 7th of February 2018, when I made the discovery, I emailed Mark Lodwick, who's the flow for this area in Cardiff and all this, with this side of Wales. And I had no reply. I emailed him the following day. I had no reply. On the 13th of February, I still hadn't had no reply. So I phoned St. Fagans, and I got through the desk. And unfortunately, Mark was on annual leave, so that's not his fault. So obviously, he wasn't seeing no emails. So I explained the situation, and I asked if she could put me through to somebody else that could deal with this. And she then put me through to Adam Gwilt, and he asked me to send him through a few photos, which I did. My email actually said, "Morning, Mr. Gwilt. My name's Mike Smith from Pembrokeshire Prospectors. I found a Celtic chieftain chariot burial." And apparently they all had a laugh. Well, in fact, when I spoke to them on the phone, I could hear them laughing in the background.
That's just disrespectful, that is.
Yeah. And well, you can understand to a degree, because, I mean, there was no knowledge of the Celts having been in the area. So you can understand they probably thought I was wishful thinking on his part. But I mean, after the length of time I've been doing this, I know what I'm doing. You know, it's the way that they have deliberately excluded you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Ironic, because obviously with the amount of archaeologists that slate metal detectorists, and if it wasn't for ourselves, probably 90% of the stuff that had been delivered into the museums are through metal detectorists.
Well, 90% of the finds there are. And what shocked me as well, when I spoke to them last year, they actually said to me that, like, my find was definitely going on display, also with a replica of the Chariot. And it would then do a tour of the museums throughout Wales, and then England and Scotland and so on. But there is actually no displayed in Cardiff Museum. It's all photos of displays. Everything is hidden away in drawers and cupboards, and it's none of it's there.
It's the same as the Bronze Age docketed knife that we found. The only other one is in 4 bits, and that's in the vault in London Museum.
Yeah.
Why put it in the vault? Why not put it on display?
Sorry?
Why not put it? Why are they now, for instance, Cardiff Museum now, they're changing that now to a gallery now, just for art. They're taking everything out and putting it over to St. Fagans.
Yeah.
So the National Museum, everything should be kept there.
Well, they've actually told me, this is a contradiction for what they've said, because they've told me they're not allowed to and will not be working on any of the Chariot finds until they have purchased the Chariot and all the other items. They have bought some of the items, but the main parts, the Chariot, the Celtic longsword, the wheels, all the other bits, and they haven't even wrote the coroner's report for yet. And that was last June. And they still haven't done it.
You see the longsword, myself and Kieran in the museum.
And were they working on it?
Yes, they were.
Well, there you go. They told me they're not even allowed to.
Yeah, they were working on it because they had stuff in the fridges. They had the sword was actually a cast.
Yes.
Back of the conversation room. Am I right in that?
Yes, it was in a cast.
Yeah.
They told me they've done an X-ray on it, and that end with the sword is the tip of a Celtic spear as well.
Well, that's on the back. Am I right in saying this, Kieran? It's on the back. It's on the back table, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was, yeah. And they wouldn't have it out if they're not going to be working with it, because obviously the air will get to it and it oxidize even more itself.
Yeah. Well, they told me it was in a secure environment. What do you call it? The atmosphere was controlled, if you know what I mean. I can't think of the word that they use.
In a vacuum.
But basically, Yeah, yeah, to keep keep any moisture getting at it.
Some of the stuff, yes, there were a lot of the stuff that we found that we saw were in boxes and they are all sealed up, etc. And then they brought them out. They didn't bring out the packets, also they kept them in these containers and put them back into the fridge.
They're not supposed to. They're not supposed to touch that in any way until they've purchased it.
I generally
when they told me that themselves.
I thought it looked like a leg in a cast. I generally thought it was like.
Yes, yeah, I know.
I shit myself, to be honest. But no, yeah, there was. She asked Adam Brooke actually. She said, "Can I show the boys?" And the only reason why we got to see it is because we had found something so significant ourselves. There again, exactly the same response we had. There should never ever been that amount of bronze item in that area. There's nothing around there at all. To basically say, well, this is you. There's no flags.
Yeah, what they should be taking into consideration is that the layout of the land today is completely different to what it was thousands of years ago. There was no hedgerows. The water table's changed. In the field where I found the Celtic Chariot burial, there was no mounds. But 2,000 years ago, the Chariot and the other burials would have all had mounds over the top of them. So with the activity over the last couple of thousand years of farming, the mounds were ploughed out. So although you couldn't see them, they were there. So it's a little bit ignorant, really, on their part to believe that just because there's no mounds there, that there's no significant history in the ground. I mean, Wales, in my part, is an unexplored treasure trove. There's so much here to be found.
You're absolutely right on that, Mike. I 100% agree with you. I really believe that there is hell of a lot more to be found in Wales.
I think Wales in itself, especially South Wales, is quite an untapped source archaeologically. We know of numerous Roman sites, but how many other major Roman sites are there that are undiscovered? Because at the end of the day, in my eyes, Wales is a vast rural landscape. We've got a lot of big built-up areas throughout, but they're not as big as many others in the UK. So yeah, I think it's a vast untapped source.
You've got to look at it as well like this. Like from my point of view, is they came here. The Romans. They were here for 300 years, and
yeah,
it's not only that as well. Is that they went to our gold mines. They ate every single one of them. I mean, they went for the gold. Someone led them to that gold. Obviously, they just didn't here to find it. So I believe there was some cooperation between two civilizations, the Romans and the people that lived in the island at the time. Because when Caesar first came here, he was like, well, what's the big fuss? There's nothing here. And then he realized there's plenty of gold to be found there.
Well, I've got an announcement that's just come out from the National Council for Metal Detecting for all those obviously involved in metal detecting in the UK. This is 9 minutes ago. This was published. For England from Monday the 14th of September, meetings and events of formal societies, clubs and hobby clubs should be restricted to 6 people, whether indoors or outdoors. Businesses following COVID-19 secure guidelines can host larger groups. This is also the case for events in public outdoor spaces that are organised by businesses and charitable organisations, provided that they take reasonable steps to mitigate the risk of transmission in line with COVID-19 secure guidance and including completion of a risk assessment. Now, in my eyes, that says that a general metal detecting rally shouldn't be held unless it's of 6 people, because at the end of the day, most of these rallies aren't businesses or they're more clubs or pay-per rallies, which money is made in the bottom pocket. That's from my eyes, and most of them aren't charitable events, but I'm sure there's a way around it. Someone will find. Scotland from Monday the 14th of September, a maximum of 15 people from 5 households can currently meet outdoors in Scotland, except in areas subject to tighter restrictions. This reduces to 6 on Monday, the 14th of September. We have written seeking guidance on club digs and will update you when we know more. In Wales and Northern Ireland, currently in Wales, up to 30 people can meet outdoors, and in Northern Ireland, the number is 15, except in areas subject to tighter restrictions. These may be reviewed at any time. So that was an announcement that has just been released by the National Council for Metal Detecting. So please take all that in. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be having a lot of events coming up in the near future, and just be aware, be wary, don't be stupid. You know, at the end of the day, people might not be thinking that this risk is great anymore, but at the end of the day, these laws are there for a reason. So let's keep safe. Now we're going to run into the advert shortly, and then we'll be back with Mike and with Craig and Kieran, and we'll look at Strata Florida Abbey, the dig from this weekend with the Celtic Stags.
Our most loved ones, kids, hooked on technology and disconnected from nature. And we, as parents, try to encourage them to go outside, explore and play, and teach them history. Yet, it seems hopeless at times. Nocta Macro. Introducing the world's first waterproof kids detector series. Mini and Midi HOARD. Easy to use. Lightweight and compact. Finds, discriminates, and pinpoints. Just like an adult's detector. Share your hobby with your kids to build great family memories. Let your kids discover a world full of adventure. Experience and excitement of discovery right outside their door. Mini and Midi HOARD. World's first waterproof kids detector series for the young treasure hunters of the future.
I'm Dave D, and you're watching XP Team USA.
Welcome back to the Big Detecting Show. Glad you're all here and hope you're enjoying tonight's show. Mike, we're going to go on over now and we're going to have a chat. What's he doing there? Is that barbecue sauce or something, Kieran? One of them. We're going to have a chat about the Celtic Stags. They're going to reintroduce themselves for people who haven't. Where's Craig gone now? Craig, where are you? Has he disappeared? Kieran, show's yours now. Kieran, introduce everybody who's watching at the moment and listening on the podcast version to the Celtic Stags.
Yeah, we've started doing our own digs now. We started them basically just to give people an opportunity. Obviously, you know, not a lot of people have got, maybe it's not confidence, but to approach farmers to acquire permission to go on land. So we obviously go upon and do it ourselves, and giving people an opportunity to go on land that, you know, they wouldn't normally have the opportunity to do that. So it's nice to see, obviously, with people pulling up, you know, Roman coins or whatever it is, you know, any other artifacts that are coming out. It's nice to see them holding history in their hands, and just the expressions on their faces. It's quite rewarding.
And you've had a big dig this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday dig, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually, I took my little lad to Manchester Airport. See, it had been booked for absolutely ages. His mum had booked it to take him to a junior flight academy to learn all about the airport and whatnot. But due to COVID, it kept on getting put back, getting changed, this, that, and the other. It ended up being upgraded to a Concorde visit. So we had the class underneath Concorde, and I'm there, just about to mount the steps, and my phone goes, and it was Craig. and as we all know, Craig can talk somewhat. So he ended up, Craig, I'm just about to get on Concorde, mate. I'll have to go. So, but the images, and we're going to obviously look at some of the images in a moment, and one of the videos as well that was sent to me. There was, for me, one in particular, and you know exactly what I'm talking about straight away, what it'll be, Kieran, but some absolutely phenomenal. Is Craig back perchance, or is he still, have we still lost him?
No, we still lost, I think.
Still lost him.
I can't see him.
No.
Let me see if he's messaged me. He normally messages, well, not yet. So, Laura, give him a poke with your toe or something, swiftly. Kick him.
Yeah.
So tell us about this then. Tell us about Strata Florida Abbey, because until Craig told me about Strata Florida Abbey, I'd never heard of it, and such a phenomenal site as well, with a weird name. Obviously, I thought it was in America or something.
I did. When Craig told me about it, I was like, oh, that don't sound like a very Welsh name, Strata Florida. But no, there's a lot of history there. There was, I think there were 7 Welsh princes that were buried there. A famous poet. There's a lot of history there. I think Prince Charles mandated it to obviously get it redone, or to get it refurbished. And we were literally across the other side of the stream with it, with obviously the farmers' permission on the other side, literally a stone throw away.
Some of the images that Craig was sharing with me just showed how far away you were, and if you could literally throw a stone in at the building from where you were metal detecting.
Yeah.
And obviously it goes back to medieval times, so the promise of some of the finds that you could expect were brilliant.
Oh yeah, definitely. And as you said, with the one particular item that was dug up was amazing. I think they called the design on the back of it zoomorphic.
Yeah.
If I'm correct. It's absolutely stunning, because the lady that brought it up, she started walking up the hill. Me and Craig were by the truck, and she started walking. It was quite a steep hill, and she was like, I don't know if this is worth walking up with. And I had a look at it, and I said I'd be running up and down the hill all day if I thought it's absolutely amazing.
It's absolutely stunning, and I mean, she's contacted me thereafter with the actual cleaned up images, basically, with the size and scale and what have you, and it's stunning. Now Craig has accidentally logged out apparently, and he's logging back in, so I've pointed him to the same source, and we should have him back momentarily. So I'm going to have to nip into the images anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he'll be on momentarily. We'll hear him before we see him, no doubt. So, Luke, I'm sharing the screen, and over we go. So, what I'll do first, I'm going to actually play the video, if I can find... Is that the video? I think that's the video.
Stunning piece.
It is.
There was quite a weight to it. It was surprising how heavy it was.
And it's bronze.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful find.
Yeah.
So has anybody said what it's off?
That was it
No,
barking at you then.
There was a bit of a speculation of the origin. A lot of people seem to lean more towards Roman because of the patina. Obviously, with all the Roman coins that were found there as well, seem to link it to that. But only that piece found on that field, similar to that. Nothing else on that field, just that piece.
I've seen similar items in the past that turn out to be bucket mounts. You know, obviously Roman buckets.
Yeah.
But I've seen very similar items that were mounts on buckets.
Yeah. On the back of there, it sort of looks like a snake's head. I can't.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Stunning
And
piece.
it's the head of a wolf or a hound of some variety.
Yes.
Is the common thought. Now, do you know as yet, has this been actually looked at by anybody online? You know, Portable Antiquities Scheme who've been able to offer a brief explanation.
I don't know. I do know she was getting in touch with Mark Lodwick, but that's as far as I've heard so far.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's very, very nice.
The problem we got at the moment now, where do we stand if we find something that we want to email pictures into or speak to? According to Adam Gwilt, they're not back in the museum until August. No, sorry, what did he say? September. The end of September, beginning of November, and that's only 2 days a week. So if somebody finds something in between now and then, who do they contact?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, really.
Yes. Now, I'll come out of this for the time being. I'll stop sharing for the time being, and we'll talk amongst ourselves because obviously I want to bring Craig in on the conversation regarding the. Is he? There he is. Hi, Danny. Danny Yallop, the article we put together this weekend. I've been a bit busy this week, sadly. So, Craig, you're back. We've just been chatting about the find by Danny Yallop's nephew of the zoomorphic hound figure type thing.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's stunning. Do we have any ideas? Has anything bandied around between other people what it might be?
Viking. I'm leading towards to Roman or Viking. I had it in my hand like this, and I was rubbing the head, and I thought, is it come off a part of the staff or something? You know,
yeah.
Hell of a weight to it, man. Beautiful find, and very well deserved.
Absolutely beautiful find.
Danny, I've been detecting on yourself.
Yeah.
She came to the pagan rally. That the boy she was with, Paul, found Elizabeth the First and James the First hammered. And like I said, you'd only been detected in a month. Well done.
As I was saying to Dave, Craig, you know, the reason why we've done these digs is obviously for the examples, you know, of the stuff that have been found. It's just giving people the opportunity to dig up history as on you know, on that scale.
Well, it's not only that, as you just said it basically there, but we also look at it as well. It gives us more knowledge in Wales itself, as Mike have done with the Chariot, as we've done with Bronze Age. There's still a lot to be discovered, and it shows because all the Roman coins that were found down in Strata, Florida, there's no sign of Roman activity down there. So it just goes to show again.
Now, you mentioned to me as well, and I did message Luke to tell him, and I'm not 100% sure because I know you were very busy, so it wasn't confirmed, about some potential Roman hoard found this weekend as well.
I believe I would hear it.
Yeah, there was 2 Roman hoards found, 2 coin hoards, in a small wooded area, less than half an acre. A lot scattered around by a tree. Then just up about 2 or 3 meters away, there was another scatter of Roman coins there. a couple of stunning ones as well, really nicely preserved ones. I think the gentleman Jim, I think it's Jim Southgate, who had found one of the hoards, and it was his first dig, the first event he'd gone to, and yeah, I think he'd had about 10 or 11 Roman coins in total.
I think I've got, as I said, I put some of the images before, but I put them in the wrong folder. So I think we'll be able to get back to some of them in a minute. But there was another thing. Luke, I'll be sharing the screen again now. There was another find from the site, which Laura messaged me about, and it was this one. It's a Welsh token, Craig. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because you were quite excited about this.
Yeah, I was very impressed with that one. They were only made they were only made in 1800s, actually, just 1800. Now, the stock was in commemoration of the last Welsh king. Although I'm Welsh, I don't speak fluent Welsh, and I couldn't really read what was on it, so I give it to the farmer that spoke fluent Welsh and could read. They just make it up on the website.
So it's. Am I right in saying it's a central bust of? Oh God, it's a Welsh word. Oh, Iestyn ap Gwergen. How's that?
That's fair, Mike. What do you say? Nearly there.
Yeah, no idea. I don't speak Welsh either.
We got a Welsh program with no Welsh speakers on. Yeah. Brilliant.
My second eldest daughter speaks Welsh fluently. I don't speak any Welsh.
Same as my daughter speaks fluent Welsh, Mike.
Yeah.
I think my pronunciation of several Welsh locations a few weeks ago was damn near perfect.
Debatable, Dave. Very debatable. Yeah, well, it goes to show that again, for me, that weekend, for everything that came up, the Romans, that was special.
Yeah.
Because it's Welsh for starters, and
there's so much more land there to detect as well. That was only a snippet of land.
There's a right up on it there now.
Yeah.
So move on a bit now. This was another find that I thought was stunning as well. Tell us about this.
That boy, the boy I found that actually said, I got some number here, Craig, and I'm not sure what that.
Speak up a bit, Craig, please.
When the boy gave it to me, it was like, so I just got bits of scrap, etc. So I had a look, and then he pulled this lump up. He said, do you mind if I give it a little clean up? So I just wiped it gently with a little bit of water. And then I could just see this stunning horse started to appear. But age-wise, I'm not sure because it looks crudely done. Maybe Mike could actually identify that one.
But it's aesthetically pleasing. Doesn't matter about the age. Aesthetically, it's a beautiful image.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly my point there. But it's something that I'm glad that a lot of people on our digs do bring their items, either to myself or Kieran. Obviously, we upload them. Hopefully, we get other people's feedbacks. But
to me, that looks like it's half horse, half man. From where I'm looking here, it looks like it's, the fabled character of the horse with the man's upper body.
How's that? Is that better?
Oh, that's better. Yes.
Perfect. Lovely.
Yes, that looks more like a card horse to me. If you have a look at the build of it,
you can see just on the back there. You can see the rings. You can see the front.
Yeah. It's either a Shire horse or a cart horse.
Do you know, it'd be nice to make a rubbing of that, obviously, because you don't want to start touching up anything on there, but to make a nice rubbing of that might be with a bit of candle wax or something, maybe be nice.
Yeah.
I think we've got another image of that as well.
Yeah.
There you go.
Stunning.
It's absolutely beautiful. Mike, what would you say it's from? What do you think? I think it's older than medieval.
What's it made out of?
Bronze, isn't it?
Out of bronze.
Yeah.
I would say post-medieval, judging by the picture of the horse and the the way it's got its reins and everything on it. I wouldn't say it's much earlier than that. Not the picture, anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's Jurgen Klopp's brother, Clippity.
Yeah.
Another dad joke.
No, but I do with Danny's find, for instance. That's a further, that is.
It's creme de la creme, isn't it?
Now, tell me about this find. It's I'm not able to actually
I,
ascertain.
I don't actually. I think I sent that to somebody. Sent it to me, Dave, actually, and I said it to yourself because I was clueless to actually what it was.
It looks to me like part of a dirk or a rapier.
But yeah. The lad sent it to me, and I just fired it straight over.
And this was from Strata as well?
No, no, that wasn't.
So why are you sending me pictures that aren't from Strata?
My bad.
Lovely, anyway. Is that from Strata?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding with you.
No. That
is that folded or cut?
Cut.
Mm.
But they still class them as a full coin, don't they?
Yeah.
Another big find.
Yeah, string. That's a string one. That was from me actually. There again, you could actually say it's a bath plug if you really wanted to. But
yeah.
It's certainly not a bath plug. It's just some unusual finds that come up from people.
Well, we've already seen that little darling, haven't we? Now, this was one that gripped my attention as well. I couldn't quite make out exactly what it's made of.
Well, copper on the back end. I had a look at the actual stones itself, and the boy said, "Oh, it's costume jewelry." I said, when I looked at the pin on the back end, that wasn't modern. But it's just like two bent prongs that go on the back end.
Picture's too small for me. I can't see it very well at all.
Let's try a bit more, Mike. How's that? Any better?
Yeah, it's better, but I'm doing this on my mobile. I am, see.
It's missing. I think it's missing. I think it's got two stones inside, and the rest are missing.
I take it these are some of the Roman finds.
Yeah. I believe they were Jim's first ones that come out.
Yeah.
And they were only literally 3 inches beneath the surface. And the first one I think he dug actually on the mine lab give him 11, and the second one give him a 3.
They were very scrappy signals, weren't they?
Very scrappy signals, and it was only the fact, I think, as I said in the briefing, that dig everything because you don't know what's here.
Yeah.
It has never been detected on before, ever. We were the first there with detectors. And Lord and behold, these rodents just started popping up everywhere. Quite a lot of cetaceans has come out as well, didn't there?
Yeah, about 5 or 6 maybe.
There's a hell of a lot more there to still be found. How do you know yourself?
I think in total, it was in the mid-30s for the Roman coins that came out.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot in that little half acre of woodland. It was quite surprising the amount that came out of that little area.
You actually see a good figure on that one.
That one looks like a woman to me.
It does, yeah, to me as well.
There was one of the coins that Jim found. You could still see the necklace on the neck. The detail was still there. It was amazing.
Who would that be on the back of there?
Wouldn't have a clue.
Mike?
Now, if you're looking for Roman identification, if you put any finds of that ilk into the big detecting show, and you tag a chap called Chip Grzinski, I think that's the correct pronunciation, because I haven't got it in front of me. I haven't. If you put Chip in, I'm sure the rest will come in anyway. But as we found them, the virtual detectable in April, it was. I've never heard anybody be able. So an American in America, with no obviously Roman finds, what have you, but I've never known anyone in that position to have so much Roman knowledge and so much passion about Roman finds. It was absolutely awe-inspiring.
It's good when you get people like that. You know they just evidence by the street.
Yeah, unfortunately, my neck of the woods, Roman finds, although we do find them, they're few and far between. We've got some areas where we do find more than other places, but because of the rarity of them, I'm no expert on Roman at all.
That's it. There again, it goes to prove that the Romans were in Strata, Florida, or if you want to go to the English way, the Vale of Flowers.
Yeah.
Do
you know what this picture tells me, Craig?
Go on.
You need to clean your car, mate.
Blame Kieran for that. Kieran, you need to clean my Jeep.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many artifacts in the Jeep as a wet.
That William and Mary.
It's definitely two faces, aren't they?
Yeah, if you zoom it in, I think.
And I take it's got a hole in it, which for being
somebody
and then to the medallion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got two faces there.
Is that William and Mary?
That's what I thought, Mike.
So you've had an abundance of finds all weekend.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
this one was a bit profound. I thought it originally was a ring, but then I saw the addition.
It's a candle holder.
So what? Sorry. Oh, right.
Candle holder.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Very small one.
There's a little bowl that would have gone on there. Your finger would have gone through the loop, and the candle would have stood in the little hole in the bowl.
I'm with you. Wee Willie Winky style.
Yes. Yeah. The first time I found one, I didn't have a clue what it was either.
I was like that with my Victorian nutcrackers. Nice spindle whirl.
A few with them.
Yeah.
And these are a few together.
Yeah, that was actually the boy that found that horse.
Yeah, I love this. The horse. It's stunning.
There's a button on here, right? Geraint John sent it to me, and to me it looks Egyptian.
Yeah.
I'd never seen anything like it. It looked like somebody that the arm is a sword or some sort. It's lovely, and the ring Geraint found is beautiful.
Yeah, the ring is.
Just gonna nip into here. So
that wasn't long after the dog, the zoomorphic figure was found. The ring. From
the ring. No, yeah, that's it. There, that one. That's just a mind blower for me, to be honest.
So what are we looking at here?
A button.
Yeah, but what do we think the?
Oh, sorry. It looks Egyptian. If you look, it looks like a beak on the front.
That looks like one of the what they call the daggers with the curve.
Like a scabbard.
Let's do that. How's that? Is that any better? Yeah, it looks like an arm holding a knife of some type. But
yes, it is. It is. That's an arm. It is an arm with a dagger in his hand.
Yeah.
That's an arm. The line at the bottom is where the bottom of the button is, and the arm then protrudes up from it with a dagger in the hand.
Yeah, I can see that now.
Yeah.
What would you say that is like?
Sorry?
What would you...
Age-wise?
Yeah.
18th century, 17th century. A lot of these, what people don't think, the family crests, a lot of these. If you go on a site... If you go on a site which is called livery buttons, and put prominent arm, or if it's a picture of a lion, prominent lion, and so on, leg, goose, dog, whatever it is, and it'll give you a picture of all the different buttons with those figures on, and it'll give you a name of the family that crest belonged to.
That's interesting. Do you know, if you look at it another way, there actually could be looked at as a horn of plenty as well.
Yes, yeah.
With potentially something popping out the top. Anyway, I'm generally wrong when I'm trying to decipher what something is. Now, is this one of the Roman finds that was of the hoards that was found?
Yeah.
Yes.
Another stunning. It's been cleaned up magnificently to be able to see the detail.
Yeah.
Are we able to ascertain who the Roman figure is on it?
I think it was a Constantine, possibly, was it?
Constantinus.
Have you noticed my big words tonight? Ascertain. What's that about?
Ascertain.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, nice that. But again,
That's some
see, that
stunning
could be
finds.
anything from medieval, post-medieval. It could be anything back to Roman times, but a lot of it is depending on what else was found in the area.
Yeah.
Well, we've had, that's what I'm saying, we've had the Roman.
That again is absolutely beautiful.
Stunning example.
Very well preserved.
That's not Constantine.
I think that says Rita on the bottom, so it might be a Rita.
It's Coronation Street then.
What do you?
And this is all of them together, yeah?
No, that's not even
That's either Jim's or Geraint's horse.
I think it was Geraint, yeah?
Geraint's, yeah.
Yeah, there's two sister issues, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a three.
I didn't see that one. I didn't see the face on that as well as that before.
So I think one of the guys actually found there was like 3 different Roman Emperor coins that were found with 3 different emperors. I think that was Digger Dan's mate, that was.
Yeah. Matthew Graham, I think.
Yeah, Matthew, if he's at home, ask him to.
And that's back to Andre. So we can stop sharing now. But obviously, you've had a highly successful weekend. How many people attended over the weekend?
I think we only got to like 40 odd.
Is that all, really?
That's all. And that's what amazes me is how much was found by just 4 people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't forget, there's over 1,000 acres land there.
Yeah.
So then, if you put 200 people on there, you imagine what else would come up. Nobody had that girl's coin, I think, for Charles.
I was just thinking about that now.
That's absolutely beautiful.
Andy Thomas is saying in the chat room, Anglo-Saxon shield boss. What a find, go back to it. I'm not actually sure which one that was.
Horse.
I think he's on about the plug hole bit.
The what, sorry?
The bit that Craig said that looked a bit like a plug hole.
Oh, right, I'm with you. Let's go back. Luke, here we can share again, and we'll go back to the what I thought was what did I think it was? A tap.
It looks, it does look like a tap off cast iron radio.
I don't know if I'm sharing yet, if Luke's accepted it or it's kicked in. So if we're talking about that one, potentially.
To me, that looks like a plug hole cover, or,
To me, it looks like an upside down water tap.
Yeah.
It could be again, yeah.
But if it's right, then potentially, don't think there was anything else that. So I think it was Anglo-Saxon shield boss potentially.
I think he might go on a horse. He's going to a horse.
Yeah, the horse one maybe.
Yeah, it could be a horse boss.
What, we're talking about that one? No.
The one you
yes, the same one that you just had.
Oh right, so that one, the plug, the hot water tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see, that's one of the good things about doing the show is that when people show finds and they're not able to actually ascertain what they are, I've done that on purpose then. We have people watching it, I'm able to assist. So Anthony Thomas think that's an Anglo-Saxon shield boss. So I hope it is.
Yeah.
I hope it is indeed. Even though I think it's a hot water tap.
It'd be nice to go to, that'd be another nice find to go to the museum.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you've had a good few hundred finds. You've had 2 small Roman hoards. You've had that fantastic bronze dog-headed zoomorphic thing. You've had silver. You didn't have any gold, but you've had multiple other finds.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. It was a brilliant weekend.
Yeah.
Everybody obeyed the rules not to step over the style and go carby run. They stayed completely off it. I said, go up there by all means, but just don't take a detectors.
So, obviously, things may change in the near future regarding rules and regulations in the UK. But what's next for the Celtic Stags in terms of returning to strata, or have you got something else planned?
Got the Gower. We got the Gower, but we do have a dig coming up on the 19th of this month. Am I right, 19th?
Yeah. Back up on a standing stone rally. The first rally that we had.
Yeah, but the fields have since been drilled and rolled.
I've actually been to the Gower. I've been there. We stayed at Three Cliffs Bay.
Yeah, I know.
That was years ago. I must have been about 12, but I've been there. But I've actually I've spoken to Mike in the past a lot, obviously. My auntie lived in Haverfordwest for years. We stayed in Tenby at a farm between Saundersfoot and Tenby. And what was it called? Monkston Point was the beach we always, in the caravan site we always stayed at down there. So
that was my auntie and uncle used to run that caravan park.
Really? It's a small world. Honestly, God, I must have been from between 9 till about 13, 14. We always used to stay with trailer tents. In fact, well, I might be here, but when my mum passed away and all the pictures and that came about, there's numerous photographs from Monkston Point, and it was mad because the walk down to the beach, it was zigzag all the way down the cliffs. It was fantastic.
Yeah. If it is the right one, you're on a steep hill, either going in to Saundersfoot or walking out to Saundersfoot. If you're coming out, it's on the left-hand side on a steep part of the hill.
That's right,
yeah. My auntie and uncle had that. Up until about 25, 30 years ago, they ran it.
Yeah. Always astounds me how small this world actually is, and how digital age makes it even smaller.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's something I want to ask people out there, to be honest, in the club. Who is leaving us paintings?
Yes. Now, for people who can't hear Craig properly because he's very muffled.
Is it muffled now?
Yes, it's still muffled. So I'm actually going to ask Kieran to explain this, because this is something that's happened on your digs more than once, isn't it, Kieran?
It is indeed, yes. I think it was the first dig that we were on the standing stone rally. We'd had a portrait done of being Craig without finds, and he'd actually brought some of the artifacts to life. He'd put two of the spears on the end of the sticks as if they would have been when they were first obviously made. There's a lot of speculation of who it could be. It's quite random, but it's exciting too, because we obviously don't know who it is. And on the last rally that we just done, the Strata Florida, we did another one with the play on words, the Game of Tones. Yeah, that's the first one.
That's lovely, that is, yeah.
Very nice.
Who's the artist then?
So who is leaving this? Who is leaving these paintings? What, they just leaving on your car or something?
Well, someone said they thought it was the farmer, but obviously the farmer's obviously ruled out now, because we obviously didn't see him up strata. But the other one was the Game of Tones. Have you got that one with you there, Craig?
Yeah,
it's amazing, that one. And the chairs, actually, instead of swords, it's all pinpointers and metal detectors and foils. It's very, very clever.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, they're talented, aren't they?
They are indeed, yeah. But it's just we just don't know who it is.
You actually need one of them hidden cameras now.
Yeah.
What a little guy detector.
Yeah.
John Morris says, as you have not shown the bronze dog piece again. Sorry, John, if I've missed your comments. Obviously, there's a lot of comments coming through from different locations. He will go with it being a terminal from a Roman 1st century patera handle. So, Luke, again, sorry if we could just pull share screen up again, and we can show that image for John. So that's the back of it.
Yeah.
And that's the head of it. So there you go. So he thinks it's a terminal for a Roman 1st century patera handle. If it was a pantera handle, I'd be moshing away. Another dad joke.
So excuse our ignorance here then. What is he saying a patera handle?
He believes that bronze... Right, I'm going to Google that then. So what is a patera handle? So while I Google that, well, actually, images for patera handle. A bronze patera handle in the form of... I can't tell you, it's not giving me that. But what I can do, again... am I still sharing the screen at all? No, I'm not. So again, Luke, I'll share the screen. And we will go back to that, and I will... So I've Googled patera handles, just generally, and yeah, you can see the similarity, especially for the like of that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure you... Well, look at that one. That is eerily similar, definitely, yeah.
It's a ram's head.
There's one obviously with a wolf's head there.
Yeah.
So I'm quite shocked at how good that actually is. So what's the a patera handle, copper alloy handle, cast hollow rib tube terminating a ram's head, originally secured to a wall for 4 small rivets. This end of the handle ends a pair of concentric, blah 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 blah. You're going to have to look into this yourself, gents. But you've actually got somewhere to go with it now anyway. But obviously from John pointing that out, that does look not dissimilar to what they've found there.
Yeah.
And that I think that makes it a bigger thing potentially than you thought it was in the first place.
Absolutely, yeah.
It does lead away on that one, I suppose.
Yeah, cheers, John.
Yeah, thanks.
So,
am I muffled bad?
Sorry?
No, it's sounding all right now. On my end, it's all right anyway.
You were just very muffled. In fact, Chris Bailey said before he was actually sitting in the wine cellar as well. Obviously, it's empty. Well, listen, gents. I'm going to watch what?
There's a gentleman on the page, Matt Cole. He did put a post up on our page regarding the nonsense that went on the weekend on some of these dates. I was wondering if maybe we get him on that day, because it just goes to show that relationships you can have with partners doesn't have to be affected by one silly mistake by other people. We shouldn't be penalised by other people's actions, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, if you want to put me into communication with him, we'll be more than happy to have him on the show. This is the show for the people. It's the show for everybody who watches and wants to participate. If anybody wants to be on the show, give us a shout. We'll talk to anybody. We even have Kev Marchese on last week. Wouldn't get his top on off, but well, there you go. John's come back and he said the patera was a bowl used for wine on ceremonial occasions. There you go.
Well, remember we had that, remember Carl from that peace scheme?
Yeah.
He got his bell and I grabbed him and he was part of the boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if that is a part of a patera, to me, that would make potentially that site of some significance, maybe. You've obviously got the coinage there, but why would there be a ceremonial wine drinking vessel, if not something of consequence?
There's probably some sort of religious significance to the site. They'd have had some sort of shrine or place of worship there.
Yeah.
Nick West comes back and says it's a shallow ceramic or metal libation bowl. Right, I know what he's on about there. There was in the Lost Treasures of the Knights Templars with Hamilton and White and Cole Cookson. There's a libation bowl on that from the medieval period. So I understand what they're on about there. Yeah, so as I said, if anybody does want to participate and be a part of the show, wants to come on as a guest, even if they want to come on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes just to discuss any of the most recent finds or anything like, please give us a shout. As all the gentlemen on here tonight will attest, it's very easy going. It's just like sat chatting. It's just like four of us having a Zoom conversation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You only realise people are there because there's comments at the side. It's very easy to do. All it is a matter of myself or Luke sending you a link. You click on the link, you fill in what your name is, you accept camera and mic, and lo and behold, you're in the background, and then Luke brings you on screen, and there you are. So it's relatively easy, and we're very easy going, and we take the subject very seriously, but we don't take ourselves very seriously.
No. Somebody else did find something very, very peculiar in Stratford. Phil Bish. He was evident when he found them.
What was that again?
Phil Bish found the stones that were marked.
Yeah. He'd said there was like a sort of like a big stone, and there was crosses on it. He'd said, wouldn't there?
Yeah,
and he was getting a lot of wild signals around it. So that's something we've got to look further into up there as well. There was actually, it was part of the land that obviously they were allowed to go on, but nobody had actually gone up as far as to the point where one of the boys had gone to. So yeah, that was on the Sunday. That was the end of the day. That wasn't it, Craig?
Yeah,
I'd love to see the images of the stone. Certainly, that's definitely something I'd love to see.
Danny found that.
It wasn't far from there.
And Geraint with a ring was found in our same field. The Roman coins were found just up to the left of the forest.
Yeah.
They were all in one particular area. God knows how far. Don't forget, the woodland itself has got a 2-mile car track around it. So that's how big the woods is itself. It's inside 2-mile radius.
Yeah.
And it just goes up, and it goes flat top to where let's say the vantage point, or can you go? When you get up there, you can see far and wide.
Well, anybody who is interested in learning more and participating on your digs, where do they find that on Facebook?
In our events page.
And that's the Celtic Stags Detecting Group.
That's correct.
Celtic Stag Detectorists.
Brilliant. And Mike, your group?
I don't even know the name of my own group.
Metal Detecting Wales and Beyond.
Yes, I changed it because it clashed with somebody else's group. So yes, as you said, yeah. Yeah.
Hey Mike, why didn't you come over to one of those gigs one time?
Well, I will do, but it depends on the distance for me, see? Because I'm a carer for my wife. It depends on how long it's going to take me to get back if anything happened.
Yeah.
But, we definitely try and get them down in your area. So,
I would like to attend, but for me, the difficulty for me is I normally only detect the maximum about an hour and a half from where I live. So I can get home quick if I have to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you can get one like Kamal and shove there, that'd be right for you.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah.
And I'll have to just throw my cover in the back of my car and get my car bed up and going and sleep in my car.
You can share the bed with me.
Oh, now, Tiger. With me space pants on.
Hey, Kieran's been at it, Kieran boy.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, right, hold on a minute. This Welsh thing, we had a South Walian special tonight. I didn't know the South Walians were that way inclined.
Well, Mike's smiling.
We have a lot of special kettles.
You spoil me. Anyway, chaps, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on tonight. Obviously, we can communicate regularly anyway. I have to start ignoring Craig's calls now because he's on for far too long. I didn't ignore you before. I was having my tea and didn't realise that you'd rang until I was doing the trying to prep for the show. So I do apologise missing you earlier. Anyway,
how was the gym going?
The gym, it's going all right. For those who don't know, I joined. I'm a fat BASTARD, and I decided along with my wife to start going to a local thing. It's called Hit Zone. So basically, it's a machine with the bars that you do that push-ups and what have you, or slams. There's 81 different things. The harder you push, the more restriction. It's a 25-minute class, 30 seconds of hard, intense workout, 30 seconds chilling out. I got a text off the trainer who used to play for Man City and Rochdale last week saying, right, Dave, I've sussed it out. I'm doing a Dave killer calorie one tonight. So I went. It was just me and him, and he had me doing this, he had me doing that, and I'm absolutely leathered. I'm hitting 500 calories in 25 minutes, knocking that out. And I'm absolutely, and he said, right, we're going to do some shuttle runs now. Well, I started running and I felt a pop in my heel, and I've not been walking properly since. But apparently I'm losing weight. I think it's just because I had a bit of a shave earlier. But yeah, it's all right. The tablets that we bought, I don't know if they're working or not. I am, don't worry about it. So thank you for your pointing that out anyway. Anyway, yeah, Bubba Williams is saying Craig's a minimum 35-minute call. Pettican said you were on for 2 hours as the other week. So, yes, thank you, Craig. Thank you, Kieran, and thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure speaking to you all tonight and sharing all the information. And, hey, we've been able to put some bits and bobs on screen which people have been able to point out good things for you to look out and answer a few questions.
We need to make a regular Welsh show. That's what we need.
I'm going to have to get an interpreter on that. And I'm still talking of Welsh. I'm still waiting for Pettican to send me some Welsh cakes. I'm still waiting. But I'm getting slimmer, so I might not be allowed to eat them. Anyway, thank you all for coming on tonight. Thank you to the guests, Kieran, Craig and Mike. And obviously to each and every one of you for watching. And Chris Bailey holds the record for a 4-hour conversation with Craig. So we're going to do a sweepstake on Craig calls now. So thank you especially as well to Luke behind the scenes. And I will leave you all. Have a great week. Hope you all get out this weekend before lockdown starts again. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Dave.
Our most loved ones, kids, hooked on technology and disconnected from nature. And we, as parents, try to encourage them to go outside, explore and play, and teach them history. Yet, it seems hopeless at times. Nocta Macro. Introducing the world's first waterproof kids detector series. Mini and Midi HOARD. Easy to use. Lightweight and compact. Find, discriminate, and pinpoint. Just like an adult's detector. Share your hobby with your kids to build great family memories. Let your kids discover a world full of adventure. Experience and excitement of discovery right outside their door. Mini and Midi HOARD. World's first waterproof kids detector series for the young treasure hunters of the future.